Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 6 of the Warhammer Fantasy campaign. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I'm really enjoying doing this still. It's an absolute blast. All I would ask, if you have the time, is to perhaps click that little like button down there. Maybe share it with a friend, maybe leave a comment, whatever you fancy, but it really helps in terms of YouTube metrics, things like that. It makes a big difference. So, once again, let's get this show on the road. We have Grimvald and Oled who have just had a door kicked down in front of them. A group of, who look to be thugs, have just charged into the room and been instructed to kill the group and take the two halflings to try and figure out where their boat has gone. On that note, little confession, guys. Unfortunately, the first 3 turns of this round weren't recorded, and there was a little technical problem, but the recording will go ahead as normal. But to get you up to speed, Matchwick and Candlewick quickly rush forward, taking careful aim with a hand crossbow, trying to hit this individual here. But because of the careful aim, they manage to miss. Both shots pinging off of the wall here, but Grimvald being safe from being hit. Next up is this individual. He takes a swing at Grimvald, who very carefully and meticulously with his quarterstaff manages to parry the blow. Next up is this individual. He takes a swing at Oled. Unfortunately, swing going wide, he stabs his mate in the side of the head. A little bit embarrassing. His mate loses a chunk of health. Shauna then takes careful aim with her crossbow and takes a shot at this thug here, having passed a perception check just to try and see his shoulder. She takes the shot carefully, but does fumble, and the shot goes wide, hitting Candlewick. We allocated the hit randomly. As you can see, he's down to a lowly 2 hit points, looking pretty roughed up. That is the beginning of the turn. And last one, Rogelthorn then casts a spell after passing his own perception check to see how many of these he can see, seeing there's quite sort of the melee brawl right now. He manages to make this one and this one drop their weapon using a shadowy spell which turns their weapons into sort of a weird mist as it slips out of their hands. Now, we will carry on with combat as per usual. Hope you guys enjoy the session. Once again, click that like button, and I'll see you down in the comments. Enjoy. Okay, so Oleg, it is you to go. You've just been swung out by a couple of individuals, and it's your turn. Your turn.
Okay. Oleg is going to smack the guy in front of Grimvald.
Okay, guy in front of Grimvald. Okay, he has no advantage. You can make a standard attack.
Yep. And I have 2 advantage, I believe.
You do have 2 advantage, so plus 20. A solid hit meets unfortunately, an even better parry. The test was lost.
Okay.
So you do not, as you weren't hit, you only lose 1 advantage, and he gains 1. Right. So I think that's you down to 1, and now it is Conrad to go. Conrad is, having had his weapon dropped, he's actually going to step back to here and simply bellows to the others, "Hurry up and kill him." And it is this individual to go. He is going to step around Oleg. Because you're accompanied by Grimvald, you're technically not outnumbered. You are being flanked. So I'm going to give him just a heart plus 5 for the... Actually, no, I'm not, because we haven't done that already. I don't believe he's had a go yet. The guy on the far left.
He was unarmed.
Wasn't he the one? Wasn't he the one who punched? Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's right. Well spotted. Yeah, I think it's then this guy that's not gone, which it should. So he'll just move to step up. Okay, well spotted. Right, Matchwick to go again. He's going to try and take an aimed shot at this guy one more time, and we'll see how that goes. He's again going... You know what? He's not actually going to try and avoid friendly fire this time, having just watched Matchwick get hit in the back. So he's going to just take a regular shot at the group down here. Nice, a critical success. So don't worry, Grim. The odds will be fairly good.
Oh no, it's gonna hit me, believe me.
1,
Okay, you'll be number 1, because that's the lowest. We're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5 for the enemies, okay? So we're going to roll 1d5.
And it's gonna hit me.
You're okay. And it's a critical. So that would be 11 damage plus a critical hit. So we'll just roll for the critical wound as well, which is another 1. So that's going to be 13 on him. And he is going to be down to 1 hit point. And he's going to have to make a toughness test. We'll do it as a dodge because it's the same stats. Oh, I didn't do minus 20. That's a definite failure. So he's basically stunned. He's got 3 stun conditions. He's basically gets a crossbow bolt to the chest and just... He looks like he's not going to be doing anything anytime soon. Candlewick, looking confused right now, is going to turn around and look back at Shauna, who's looking very apologetic right now. Run to the open here and take an aimed shot at this individual. Actually, he's going to go closer. So he's... he doesn't look very happy at you, by the way.
Sorry.
Right, that's a definite hit. That's a 10. And that will be enough to make him hurt quite a bit. Right, there we go. And he doesn't have any advantage. That guy has no advantage. It is this thug to go, who has 1 advantage after smacking Oled once. He is going to try and take a smack against Grimvold now. So we're going to make a basic attack with my plus 10, and you'll get plus 30 once we take into account your defense. Let's see if you get a crit.
Roll, let's see, 30. Boom.
Boom. So a minus point for him and an extra point for you. Glorious. So, and that is him done. We are over to Shauna. Who are you going to shoot this time?
No, I'm gonna do the cost an action to change my bow to...
Free action. Free action to change your weapon. You get 1 free action though, so that's that.
I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8 yards to here.
Yep.
And smack a hole.
Okay. You quickly draw out your sword, right, that you've been given from Grimvold. Charge in, giving you 1 advantage, so you can make an attack with plus 10.
Plus 10.
Yep, and we'll make...
She stabs herself.
A basic attack. I will, for the purpose of how these guys are... Yeah, okay, that's fine. Plus 1, so you still manage to hit. That is just enough to hit him, but you do definitely swipe through him and finish him off. He is no more. Gaining you an extra advantage for hitting and an extra advantage for killing. So you're on 3 advantage now.
Yep, boy.
Grimvold, it is you to go.
Haha, little sags. I don't have anything to say. I'm just gonna yell behind to Candlewick and Matrick. I hope this pays well, and hit the one in front of me.
Okay, make a bonk. Plus, just plus 30 for you.
I'm gonna re-roll.
Okay, and we're gonna make a standard defense here. Pretty good.
Oh, come on. Oh, there we go.
That's not bad. Okay, well, that's more than enough to absolutely murder this guy. So using your quarterstaff, you're able to just... I mean, where do you even hit him? Straight in the body. So you're able to wind him and just knock him out. I'm not exactly how else a quarterstaff can kill someone, but you knock the wind out of him, probably break a few ribs, and he collapses to the floor with the sound of a few cracks coming from his chest. And it is Rogelthorn to go.
Rogel doesn't have line of sight of anyone, does he?
No. If you make me a perception test with minus 10 to see if you can make out a clear figure, then I'll allow you to do a ranged spell.
That's gonna be rough, but I'll try.
Have a go. You've got like a line of bodies in front and...
Yikes. I don't see nobody.
Not quite.
You can move out of there.
Not quite.
You know.
I could. But I'm also going to take a peek. What's behind the counter? Is there anything back here that I see?
Okay, make another perception test quickly. You're just going to spend the 5 seconds looking around the back here. Okay.
Ah, look at that!
You find some apples, some grain, a candle, a trap door leading to a cellar, a drawer of spices, and that's all you have time to look through.
Oh, no money, nothing cool. Alright, sad fate.
Okay.
Carry on.
As you were. It is... This thug is going to step up and going to make a swing at... Oh, God, that's suicide. He's going to help this guy out and attack OLED. No, he's going to attack Grim. That would be the most logical thing to do, because then it's one-on-one at least, even though he's basically going to get murdered. Right, let's have a crit. Ah, oh, damn it. Okay, so over to you and your plus 40.
Actually, it's plus 50.
Oh, actually, it's plus 50. Well, there you go. Yeah, let's see how you do. Okay, well, that's a successful defense. So enjoy your plus 60. And next guy to go. This one will attack OLED, because that's his partner for this do-si-do. A straightforward attack. Pow. Oh, my word. Well, let's have your defense, OLED, just to see if you manage to crit him as well. These guys are failures.
Do you have reroll mechanics as a GM?
Not for thugs. Not for thugs. Right. Well, a successful defense, giving you another advantage, and this guy a complete and utter failure. The last guy here is going to...
Don't forget to roll the fumble.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh dear, catches part of his anatomy. Oh dear, he loses 1 wound. Okay, 7. Okay, so he takes a swing at you, and he manages to sort of snag his other arm by doing a crossbody blow, and you see him sort of cut on the underside of his bicep. It looks pretty painful. And this guy clutching his wounds on death's door. See you, boss. Starts to run away. Like he's basically nearly dead, so he's stumbling down out the door and sort of like leaning on it, collapsing halfway as he goes out with blood just going everywhere. OLED to go. What are you up to?
Bruder.
Bruder, we must protect the boat. And he's going to swing.
Protect the boat. Okay, the boat's pretty protected. Did you add your plus
20, yes.
Yeah, cool. Right, and we're going to have one defense with this guy who is... You guys still haven't been crit. Like, this is ridiculous. -5. Oh, wow. Okay, 7, 8...
I would also like to point out that was the torn muscle guy, and you haven't been taking the 10 off of him.
Oh, yeah, well remembered. Thank you. So that'll be an extra 1 damage for him. So 7, 8, 9, 14... you just murdered him in 1 hit. So with your boat hook, you basically swing overhead, and the hook just jams straight down in the top of his skull, leaving his eyes sort of rolling upwards and his body sort of jangling around like a ragdoll for a few seconds. Pretty gross. This gentleman here decides he's had enough, and you can just see him quickly turn about, and you can hear quick footsteps. Matchwick is going to step in a little bit closer, and with a swing and a swoo, he's going to make a crossbow bolt at this guy, going into his body. 6, 7, 8, 75. Okay, is able to put a small, probably only about 6 inches long, a small bolt into his chest. He looks pretty hurt. Candlewick moving down is going to do the same, trying carefully not to hit Grimvold, and that it's a critical. So I mean, for drama, let's see what it does. But oh dear, gut blow, gained a stun condition. So this guy who was already in a bad way, actually no, this guy was stunned, so he's stuck there. I forgot about that. But this guy is dead. So meanwhile, this guy's holding on to his stomach right now and kind of not bleeding out, but just trying to sort of muster the energy to move. He looks completely out of it. And so you guys to go. You've got one guy here who's basically useless right now.
I just yelled to Shauna, chase after the weird guy.
Yeah, how much is my run speed?
Your run speed is 16. So, sorry, it's not 16, but what we'll do now is he has a 5-second advantage on you, which is kind of like a whole movement round. And he is currently sprinting away from you. What we're going to do is, it depends how far you want to chase, but what we'll do is we'll each do an athletics test, and you may catch up if you win enough successes. So, it depends how far you want to chase, but let's, if I just do one of these for him running away. So you got 65 against 30, so that's +3. So if you want to do, you can do an athletics test just to see if you run out the door quickly to see if you're able to gain any ground on him.
He got a -3. I think he rolled 65.
Dice 65 against 30. All right, -3. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Any bonuses, minuses?
No bonuses, minuses. Actually, you would have had you actually would have had +3, +30, so that's actually +5. So that's a +5. So you are able to sprint down the road and catch up sort of halfway to him. You can see him ahead of you, and you'll definitely make some ground towards him. You can make another test. Yep. Basically, the target is 10. If you can catch up by 10, you will catch him. So you're kind of halfway to catching up with him.
Now, do I get any bonuses?
You don't, and you lost one advantage, but you get +20 this time.
Okay, +20. Success.
Okay, +1 for you. Dice 90 against 30. Oh my word.
-6.
Yeah, so you would actually be able to catch up with him. Now, meanwhile all this is happening, what are the rest of you up to?
Can I go down?
Yeah, you certainly will. I just want to see what the others were up to while you were chasing after this person on your own.
I'm gonna chase after.
Rogel's going to encourage the other two to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yep, the halflings will agree. Go, go, go. Hurry. And
Rogel will stay behind with the halflings in case they come back with the prisoner.
Okay. So let's have 2 athletics tests from each of the brothers following.
Okay. While he's running, Oleg is yelling towards Sienna. Sienna, if that is the leader, he will have the most money.
Yep.
Alright.
Okay. So 2 tests each, and we'll add up. This is just to see.
Do I get any bonuses from the advantage I've accumulated?
You'll get like +5 and plus ridiculous amount, +8. So
There we go.
You're pretty much able to get most of the way there as well, Grimvald. Make one more test, and Oled make another test too. I'll add the advantage onto your first one as well, so don't worry.
Alright, I didn't keep
With the advantage, or...
Well, next test you'll get 4 advantage, Grim, because you
Yeah,
didn't win a
40.
test.
Aha! I shall reroll.
Okay.
Final fortune.
Okay, so Oleg a little bit behind, but Grimvald and Shauna would be able to catch up with this gentleman. So basically, he's running away. What are you going to try and do once you catch up with him? He's currently making his way down a small alleyway.
I
Well,
wanna hit him with the handle of Grimoald's sword. Just not trying to kill him, but trying to knock him out.
Yeah, same. Trying
Okay.
to knock him out.
Okay, so you can each make an attack with +20 and your advantage. So Grim would have your 4 advantage now, I think, because after the second athletics test, it would go down 1.
Yeah, so 50 that would be.
Yep.
How much do I have eventually?
I think you'll be on 1 now, Shauna. So make an attack
No,
with
that's
+10, +30, sorry, in total.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a 8 and a. Okay, so
Hey, Candlewick.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 16. So he's hurt pretty bad. You guys are now basically engaged in combat. What I'm going to suggest is that we roll initiative and treat this as a separate mini encounter.
Okay.
Hey, Candlewick.
But we don't
Yes?
want to kill him. That's the issue.
No,
Do you think
don't
it was
worry.
a good idea for those 3 to chase an unarmed man through the streets with their weapons?
Probably not, but these must,
Will you be able
rather
to help
than
them
us.
if they get caught? Like, if they run into guards, there's gonna be a problem.
I'm going to go get a pie. Back to the combat. Shauna, it is you to go.
Okay. Yeah. Just trying to knock him out.
Okay, you can make another attack. He's going to oppose it this time.
Anything?
Yeah, because you did hit him, you'll be on 20. And you advantage, so 40.
Plus.
Sorry, your advantage, I mean you outnumber him.
Okay. Boom.
Okay, and he is going to attempt to dodge. And, yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
So, basically, you're able to chase down the street some 30 yards or so and knock him over the back of the head. A couple of people have noticed this at this point. It seems curious that individuals are sprinting down the road.
Yell out, oh, Papa, when will you stop your drinking? You never know when to stop. Why do you make me do these things?
Papa, we shall have to cut down the liquor for you. And I just, as he's knocked down, I quickly just, how fat is he considering he has a pretty thick icon? A token, pardon?
He's like an average built man.
Okay, can I put him over my shoulder?
Yes.
We can both take him.
Yeah,
take him
you would be
underneath
able
the
to carry. You'd be able to carry him.
Okay. As we're passing through, I assume people will be looking at us very.
They're
weirdly
looking, and
yeah. Do not worry, this is my papa. He is very, very ill. He has a disease and he will die in the couple following days, but he has been consume alcohol, very much. And I try.
Yeah, that is there true.
make a charm test with minus 30.
No, this is the time that I actually get at 5.
Both of us.
A 57.
Because there is no fucking way that is believable. People watching a bunch of men
Shauna could
bash
reroll,
a-
right?
Yeah, I can reroll.
You can if you like.
I will. Just let me cut down on my fortune. Charm. Minus 30.
Yeah. The two people that have approached you at this point hold out a hand. We didn't see nothing. And makes a sort of little hand gesture.
How much do you ask for?
How much you got?
I give him a silver piece.
I give the other guy a silver piece.
And I sort of wink. And I say, is it enough?
Wiggles his hand a little bit more.
I give him 2 more silver pieces.
Why is Shauna trying to steal my silver pieces?
Sorry.
Okay. They accept. Alright. Have fun with your dad.
I have no
And gives
idea
you
how
a
to call
really obvious wink.
Glieben Gluben, danke. And I sort of like hushingly carry away, like running towards the street.
Okay.
Oleg is just gonna watch all of this mystified.
Let's go, brother. Now you are my brother.
I wish I was never related to you.
Okay. So, making your way back to the tavern. Just bear with me 1 second while I adjust the music again. And so, having chased down the road after your father, you're able to knock the gentleman out and drag him with Shauna, with the other 2 individuals murmuring to some others that you had lost your father or he was drunk or something like that, and there was nothing to see here. The other gentleman is currently clutching his stomach, looking around as well at the remnants, and meanwhile, during this, Matchwick has walked up to the gentleman in question, and upon seeing the pair of you, Grimvald and Shauna, arrive back with this gentleman, he makes a punch and knocks this guy out, and basically proceeds to drag him inside. Come in, come in, come in.
Oleg is going to pick up the battered door and try and fit it back in place.
Yeah, I'm gonna assist.
Thank you.
my
Much
Buddha.
appreciated. A little bit more work to do, I see.
I'm gonna go to Matchwick and... you said fixing wounds would be dexterity?
Yes, you can. Well, we don't need to stop him bleeding. He's not bleeding to death, but he's currently sat on a sofa, having yanked a arrow out of his back. It is basically sat there with his arms crossed, just looking at you, not seeming particularly impressed.
Here's the deal, Matchwick. Because Shauna hit your brother in the back, do not pay her anything or recompensate her anything, but yeah. and I sort of point a grimace over towards Shauna.
I'm gonna go swiftly and surely behind Grimwald and just smack him with full force at the back of his head.
You can hit me all you want, but you will not get my money.
Matchwick responds, we can talk about all of this later. For now, we need to do something with all the bodies. Now you're done with the door, he moves behind the bar and opens a hatch down here and proceeds to toss the first body inside.
I
Move
make
swiftly.
a very weird comment like, will they be used for meat pies?
He looks back at you. I'd suggest not having any pork pies for about a month. And winks at you.
Whatever.
Only joking. Or am I?
Right.
Yeah. Oleg's going to start dragging bodies.
Yeah, start
Okay.
dragging bodies as well.
One by one, they are tossed just straight down the sheer vertical drop that
Wait,
is
before they
this
do
cellar.
that, I wanna loot them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, the
Yeah.
weapons that he dropped, what are they carrying?
There are a couple of rusted swords. The rest had daggers. And 5 brass pieces between the lot of them.
Yeah, more Uggo brand for Oleg.
The pockets of this individual, however, you do find a little money pouch containing 8 silver.
I take it. No hesitation.
Okay. Good stuff. And, the bodies are disposed of. This individual that's unconscious is firstly gagged, tied up and bound, and then thrown down as well. We'll deal with him later, don't worry.
Is he tied up?
He's not currently. He is still upstairs. Oh, I see you've made a new friend.
Yeah,
Do you know this guy?
Indeed. Let us introduce to you Conrad. Works for the Hagen family. It appears I didn't like our message very much.
And what was your message?
To stop
You have
interfering with us.
Perhaps maybe this was supposed to be the entertainment at your trial?
I don't think so. No one would do something quite so aggressive at a trial. And I tell you what, and he sort of moves Conrad down behind the screen at least and sort of props him up, ties him up, moves any cleavers and such far away from reach. Candlewick, how are you doing? Clap once for good. And he doesn't clap at all. He just sort of sits there with his arms crossed looking at Shauna.
Grimwald can cast heal, you know. And he hasn't done it yet.
I can do what?
You can cast heal or whatever.
Yes. I suddenly went when I was a child at the school of healing. You retarded redhead.
Bruder.
You
Well,
have
what is-
heal.
Rogel could go out and
Yeah, that's
procure
what
some
we do.
healing draft.
Candlewick is going to pop to the array or drawer back here, and on the one of the shelves, you see him moving around it a little bit, moving some stuff. Has a drink and takes a stroll and moves up the stairs, sort of nodding to Matchwick as he goes past. Don't worry, he's had worse.
I still feel bad though. Anyway,
So
what
you should,
are you
darling.
hiding from us?
Hiding nothing. For now, let's deal with this.
Insight.
Yep, sure, insight.
Intuition? Yes.
Yes.
Bonus minus?
No one's... He's where he currently is.
They
You're
were
the only
just
person that
attacked.
can see him,
Okay.
so I'll give you plus 10 just from others listening, but
Okay, plus
44,
10 as well.
34, so that would have been... Yeah, I mean, you know he's not telling you something, but...
You know the thing when people point at their eyes and point at the other person's eyes?
Yep,
Like I'm watching you.
he gives you a little wink in return. Don't worry. All be sorted in the morning. Or at least by tomorrow.
Her Mactwick, what was this I heard about the boats?
Beats me. Seems that they're after
Should I?
their boat. The Hagen family had a boat stolen last week. Rather unfortunate, as it contained a lot of valuable goods.
Like what?
Poor family.
Perhaps this boat might show up on the market for a discount later?
It's a rather large galleon, but perhaps one of their prize vessels contained a large amount of merchant goods, so the poor Hagen family were rather distressed. But anyway,
Matchwick, what was the message that you specifically sent to them?
to leave us alone.
Did you perhaps do anything else apart from telling them very politely, I'm not assuming anything, to leave you alone?
No. Simply reminded them that they should leave us be, or there could be trouble coming their way. I mean, it was just a sort of a play on words, and you know.
Stealing a ship?
We
And I
would
sort of
never
eye
do
him
such
down.
a thing. You can make one more insight test, just to see if you
Oh,
believe this.
assist.
Plus 10.
Shauna, what's your
Assist.
intuition?
My intuition
Plus 20.
is 39.
Yeah, 29 or 39?
39.
Yeah, I'll
With
let
all
you.
the stock of
Okay.
boats.
So plus 20?
Plus 20. Plus 20 as Oleg is listening in keenly as well.
I'll reroll.
Okay.
We'll never catch a break with this. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Why can we never get them?
I mean, that's why it doesn't work.
What the fuck are you saying?
You're rolling intelligence.
Yes.
Why aren't you
And what
rolling
is
intuition?
intuition?
You should roll intuition.
Where
don't-
is
Numbnuts.
intuition?
Basic skills.
It's a skill.
Intuition uses intelligence, but you may have put points into intuition.
Do you have any extra points in intuition?
Yeah, I have one extra point in intuition.
Okay, we'll keep those two tests. They were close enough, and both were bad. So, no, sorry. No interest in boats here. And he does smile and wink at you, though, by now. It's all rather comical, this. Anyway, it's probably best that we give the floor a good scrub. Perhaps you might want to go get a night's rest somewhere safe. We'll hire a couple of guards to, or borrow a couple of friends to keep a watch on the place.
Oh, you'll be all right.
Indeed, we'll be fine. They won't be coming back again. Quite sure of
Pretty
that.
much. Yeah.
At least not these guys.
Shall we go rest at Grandma's place?
Yeah.
He went to rest.
So as you, the four of you, make your way out of the building, you can hear Matchwick sharpening some knives as you leave.
Be gentle to him, yeah?
Oh, don't worry, hands are very soft. And
Are we just gonna let this happen?
Yes.
Rock pants.
It pays good money.
right,
Fair enough.
you find yourselves back in the glorious town. Mist starting to creep up for the evening, having sort of indulged in food, beer, and some company, as well as combat. You now are able to make your way across the ferry for a brass penny apiece back towards Western Dam, at which point in the pit Granny resides. Takes some half hour of travel. The night is more or less upon you now, and one would make haste making their way across the town. And your dear old grandmama opens the door. Hello again. Oh, it's so nice to see you.
Hi,
Hello.
Grandma.
That's
Hello,
two nights in
Gran-Gran.
a row.
Yeah. About
Grandma,
that. Do you have any visitors, Gran-Gran?
No, not today. I saw Damon earlier, but anyway, come on in. Let me get you some stew. Welcomes you in and treats you to some more carrot stew if you like. You get the impression it's the same batch as before.
A little greener.
Yeah, a little greener, a little more fragrant, and a little layer of something on the top.
Considering
Grody.
we've eaten to before, like I try to be as polite as to sleight of hand
Okay.
or do whatever as to like throw
Work in a plant.
She's
Yeah, pour
blind
in
as
the
a
plant or
bat.
something.
She hasn't a clue. You're able to politely slide any remnants into a plant pot, out
Discard
a
it.
window, like anywhere, just through between the floorboards.
Into Grunwald's bowl,
Yep.
for example.
She fills you in on her day. I met Damon earlier. I told him about the game you were playing with the rocks.
Grandma, these games are very secret. It's only between the four of us friends. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gran-Gran, it is a game for adults. Young men should not be playing.
oh, well, it's too late now. Oh, well, anyway, if I see him again, I'll tell him.
Yeah, and
So
also
long
tell
as you are not playing it with him.
No, I don't. I can't. No. And yeah, she indulges you all with some more tales of who's died in the pits recently, and which old people are currently suffering from poor health, and treats you all to a warm place by the fire on the floor, as there's no spare beds, but a blanket apiece. You're able to get a night's rest. At this point, you remember the cold-blooded murder that took place the night before. It took a while to sink in, because the GM forgot corruption tests. But finally, it catches up with you. And you remember that poor, innocent-looking face floating down into the deeps of the bogan after pushing him off the edge. Let's
Poor maybe,
have...
but innocent.
Yeah, indeed. Let's have a corruption test, which will be a willpower test. We're going to go Grimwald, a regular test. We're going to go Oleg plus 10, and Sienna and Rogel
yes.
plus 30. Because you didn't commit murder. So
how do
willpower. A willpower test.
Willpower.
You know why I
WP.
succeeded?
Up in
Because
characteristics.
I went.
WP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the
So that's
flatter
plus
tribute.
30.
Ho, 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 ho. Thorn's contemplating on this one.
Can I reroll? Can I reroll? Can I reroll?
You can re-roll if you like.
How much fate have you burned?
Wait, how much
Uh,
did
She has four. She
I
has
have
four.
Oh
4
my
because she's
gosh.
lucky.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
said
Alright,
plus or
here we go.
minus 10.
Plus 10 for you.
And you know why I succeeded? Because I went to that
It's a
Sigmar
success.
church and I repented for my sins.
I
Yeah.
too would
It's
like
a success
to.
nonetheless.
You're going to re-roll. Okay. Yep, you're fine. You're fine. So far, everyone with re-rolls is okay. You've got Oleg to re-roll.
Alright, I have one more fortune left. Can I roll again?
You can't re-roll a
Okay.
re-roll unless you take a corruption to do the re-roll, which would be a bit counterproductive.
Yeah.
So,
Double down. Double down.
No.
unfortunately, no, you take a corruption anyway. So, out of all of you, Oleg, you're the only one whose dreams are slightly disturbed.
Not
Bye.
of boats this time.
Not of boats, but
People
Of
of
just
what?
a
Boats.
man's face disappearing slowly into the depths of the bogan, and you find yourself waking in a bit of a sweat through the night as that face, instead of sinking down, rises back up with an arm reaching out toward you. You wake up in a sweat, feeling a sense of guilt at even on your brother's behalf, having insisted on murdering him. You find yourself concerned. So there's 1 point of corruption. You can have up to your willpower bonus, and it can be cleansed with enough work.
I think for humans, it's willpower bonus +3.
We'll cover that after the session.
Yeah.
And a good night's rest for the rest is had with daybreak the following morning and the sound of the docks coming to life. We'll go for the... you find yourself with a day to spare. And a slow and gradual awakening come 7, 8 o'clock. The water flowing outside. You can hear a few boats being sort of loaded up, and the stevedores shouting orders to each other and bellowing on where crates should be shifted. The Gran is having a lay in bed currently, and the day is yours.
Yeah.
So we're going to start the recording again. So the day is yours, and you can do as you please.
I have some stuff I want to sell.
Shauna, go sell your body in the market.
Phoenix, go fuck yourself.
Keep it in RP, please.
That's rough.
Grimwald, go fuck yourself.
Much better.
Excuse me, but please take this spat outside of Gran-Gran's house. It is not good to do this in front of her.
Sorry, Grandma.
She's currently sleeping with her mouth open. It's quite
Have a
loud.
nice sleep, Grandma.
Cuddling a picture of Magnus.
Yeah. Yeah, she does mumble every now and then. Oh, Magnus.
Bruder, Sienna, I believe I would go look at some boats and perhaps purchase one now.
Yeah.
He's very excited. Like,
If
you
you
have
need
no
my
idea.
assistance, let
We
me
will
know.
come with you, Bruder. It is a great moment for you.
Okay.
And,
Yeah,
this
we're
point,
all gonna be
Ulrich
there.
He's gonna make his way towards whichever part of the market deals in boats,
Okay.
specifically rowboats.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming a penny for the toll.
Well, before you cross over, even on the same side that you are currently on the Westerdam, there is a small bay where a collection of more personal vessels are kept, and you'd be familiar as a huffer of this being somewhere to go to see if someone were up for sale as such.
Excellent. So
So a gentle stroll is had, and this takes but 15 minutes along the docks. A lovely walk, very crisp spring air at the moment, and the bustle of the shipyard is slowly coming into play.
Bruder, did you have any bad dreams?
Nein, Bruder. I simply dreamt of gold coins dropping around me, and Ranald was there too, and I specifically gave a lot more coins to Ranald and a little bit less for myself, but I still value the luck he is giving me every day.
Okay.
And I blow a kiss in the air. What did you dream about, Bruder?
Being the Rock Pants champion. And with that, he's just gonna quiet down a little, subdued, and make his
Bruder, it is an honor to be a Rock Pants champion. You see, not everybody can make it to the bottom and live to tell the tale.
let's not speak of this anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So you can see one thing that does brighten your day a little bit, OLED, is up ahead you can see this small little cluster of individual rowboats, small little dinghies, a couple of slightly larger sort of sloops. Some looking pretty rugged, others a little bit more palatable, but nevertheless all floating and all boats.
PP go up?
Yes, much. Oleg's going to take his flotation device with him and start looking at boats. Specifically, is there any part that he would be aware of using his local knowledge of selling versus non-selling? Like,
Well,
people
there
that sell
is
I'll be
a
right back.
small... Okay, we'll keep going for the moment. There is a very small, kind of like a hut like a 5-meter wide building at the beginning of this sort of pier as such, and within you would know there is a small dwarf that tends to deal with the trade. It's a mixture of private and fresh goods being sold. Some will be used, some will be new and a little bit more robust, but a fairly reputable.
Leg's going to make his way towards that hut, motioning for the other two to follow him. And
Hello?
give it a little knock on the door, politely.
Hello? Who goes there?
Yeah, ma'am.
It is I, Oleg, the river guide. Yeah. I am here to perhaps make a purchase.
Oh, and you can hear like some yawning and stretching from inside this hut. Hang on. Oh.
And you can hear a little sort of thud, presumably as he hits the floor, and a little clang of a few bits of metal, a few things being pushed to one side, and the door is unlatched and pulled open.
Ah, hello there. What can I get you?
Yeah, greetings. First, I apologize for getting you up. I did not realize it was so early, but I am looking for a rowboat, perhaps. Preferably new, but potentially used.
He closes the door behind him and steps outside.
Come on, Unge. Let's go for a walk.
And takes you for a little stroll down the pier, pointing to his left, to his right. There are a couple being sold second-hand, which basically go for a minus 10% from the standard price, and a few that are also far more visually impressive and brand spanking new, which go for plus 30% of the standard price.
Lost here.
Wait, so brand new would be 6 gold, right?
Brand spanking new would be
6 gold and then 30% tacked on.
brand spanking new for these ones would be, instead of the regular 6, it would be 8 gold. But this would be counted as like a glorious vessel, sort of prestigious and looking fantastic. For the bog standard crappy one he has,
Uggo brand.
yeah, it's basically anti-Uggo. It looks amazing. But for an old used one that is like a standard boat, it's going to cost you the regular 6, but then you get a rebate of 10 silver.
Bruder, perhaps I could borrow
Sorry, not 10, 6.
Yeah.
gold.
I was thinking like both me and Shauna can lend you. Like we can
Yeah.
lend you both 1 gold piece, yeah. That would be
Yeah. Fine, but
And
you owe me
considering-
one.
good. You don't have to return it to me, Bruder, because I am not a stingy woman.
There's 10.
You
How many
try
brass
living
pennies
with
in a
no
silver?
cash for the entirety of your life, and we'll see how you handle a gold.
What was that, Oda?
Brass pennies in a silver. I should know this, but I believe it's 10.
12.
12. Okay.
Yeah, 12.
It's American.
So I currently have.
A token for I'll make one.
Wait, so basically he's getting a brand new.
You have like a fine looking boat that is like worthy of showing
glorious
off.
rowboat.
It's not just any old rowboat, it's like one that would be visually impressive, like, oh damn, this is a really well made boat.
Oleg has a mercenary that has one eye to impress.
Okay. There you go. And you got your 6 rebate there.
Alright.
TIL Kusura rebate.
So it's basically a little bit of a fellowship bonus, or if you wanted to take someone on the boat, they'd be more likely to. It'll have a bit of an influence, and we'll talk more about that. So the boat has been purchased. Over to you.
It's
Well,
glorious, bruder.
Congratulations, Oleg.
Yeah, congratulations.
Does it come with oars?
Yes, oars included, and well crafted. Basically, to moor it here for a week, it's not particularly expensive. It's just a silver, and it's kept there, sort of with a rag thrown over it of an evening. And there are guards that are stationed here, so it's relatively safe.
Okay. And if he's working, then he would actually be using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to pay the mooring.
Yeah.
Stiana, Grunwald, perhaps we go on a maiden voyage?
Of course.
And,
Oh yeah, and I want to visit Edna Mool.
Voyage
Clothier.
or Mool?
Oh, Mool.
Wasn't
So-
Moo on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to
Yeah.
try and book them over.
And this is our maiden voyage over to Edna Mool.
Okay. Yep, so you can perform me a row test to see if you can make your way across.
Bruder.
Pluses or minuses because it's so glorious.
No pluses or minuses, but it might turn if you got heads.
Oh, okay.
Let's have a see. Okay. So despite being pretty much sure that it's all in the back, you do manage to make your way slowly across the bogan. A little unsteady at first, but confidently enough, having seen it done enough times, to paddle on away. And takes a few minutes, and you are across at the other pier. It takes an extra 10 minutes to like line yourself up and pop yourself into another pier, and that like 1 silver will basically put you at any of the docks here, so you can show them a bit of paper and you can moor it this side. Although they do kind of prefer lots of people not to run a ferry service during the day, just because with larger ships going through it tends to get a little bit clustered, so you're given a little bit of a slap on the wrist not to relocate it back and forth too often.
Okay.
They prefer people to use the standard ferry, which basically just avoids the area getting congested with small ships going back and forth, because there's many larger ships going back and forth. But there is a sort of an element of risk. So if you're going back and forth and a large ship hits you, it's kind of like, well, that's your own fault.
All right.
He's just happy he has a boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bruder,
Mhm.
let's go shopping.
Yeah.
Before I go shopping, I wanna. Where can I sell the necklace we have from episode 1?
On the way to Edna along the Hafenstrasse, there'll be plenty of market sellers and sort of street stalls that you could likely have a go at selling this to. So you could certainly make an attempt.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. So a sort of 10-15 minute walk along the Osterdam, down the Hafenstrasse toward Edna Mool. You find a street seller who seems to be have a stall of jewellery and seems to take a little bit of interest to this item. And you can go ahead and make me a haggle test to see.
Nice.
Okay. You hand over the necklace, and they seem to make out that it's like they'll take it or leave it. They're not too interested, and offer you 8. You sort of, after a bit of back and forth, you eventually take it, and the moment you start walking away, they seem particularly pleased with themselves. Right.
I'll be back to them later.
8 silver has been gained and dealt to you, and you may continue on.
Just let me remove it from my shit. Okay. Next.
Right,
But I
and
still need to go to Edna Mool's.
to Edna Mool's. It's still only like late morning by now. You've still got hours ahead of you, so to Edna Mool's, and a few people inside her store today. Hello again, darlings. Hello. Good to see you.
Yeah,
hello.
hello. Guten Tag, Edna. How do you do?
Very good, very good. You're looking very well, darling.
I know. Nobody tells me that, but deep down inside I know. Anyways, I have a little favor to ask of you, Edna. You see this leather jerkin?
I do, darling.
Can you upgrade it to a leather jack by just adding sleeves onto it?
You'd like a leather jack, would you? Oh.
Basically, I'm asking you, like, because leather jerkin is common armor with body location, and the leather jack is only 2 silver.
Add some
It's more
sleeves. Okay. We'll call it For the workmanship, we'll call it 4 silver.
Edna, you give me these very cheap prices. I love you so much, darling.
Indeed,
And
darling.
I just give her 4 silver coins and I tell her, be back later, choose.
Okay, darling. Toodaloo. And she also she looks at Oleg, then looks a little curious, like just eyes him up a little bit.
Well, what do you look at?
I see you've done away with that monstrosity, darling. Good choice.
Yeah, Sienna will most likely be selling it or burning it.
It's already sold it.
I just winked
On
at
your
her.
walk along, in the back alley,
Yeah.
she was making haste.
Like Oleg would be paying attention to that. He's still on boat 9.
Indeed. Well, have a nice day, darling.
Have a
Yeah,
nice day.
You too.
Toodaloo.
Oh, that reminds me. Heard there's a sale on at the Blacksmith.
Ooh, what is he selling?
Things that blacksmiths sell, darling. Have a nice day. Toodaloo.
I want to go over. I mean, let's go over to the blacksmith. Why not?
Sure.
I wonder if he has any new shiny things.
Okay. You take a stroll. You're familiar with the smithy of the town, fairly well known in the area. A little bit of a drunkard by reputation, but you take a stroll through the plaza into the more mercantile district and approach a large, fairly grand building. And as you approach, you can hear an argument from inside. If you look at me again, I'm going to tear your head off.
Well, now.
And this is with the door closed.
Ooh. Perhaps we come back at another time.
Stop looking at me like that. Bled.
Is he talking to us right now?
No, you can just hear shouting from within the building. And someone walks out and just sort of gives you a weird look and continues, like, walking away. And holds a hand up to their mouth and does, like, the drinking sign. You know, like, tilts a glass back and forth.
Oleg is going to catch the
Just
door
like
before it
Papa.
closes completely behind the man and holds it open for Sienna and Grimwald.
After you.
Hello?
Outside.
You step inside. At the moment, it's
Guten
just... You step inside and there is a bald man currently stood there with his hands on his hips, looking towards the mounted head of a bear that is attached to the wall. This thing keeps looking at me funny. Ah! Customers, hello! Welcome to the smithy, Black. What can I get you?
You're from Kislev, yeah?
Ah, and look at me, I'm drunk, I'm a cliche. What would you like?
Well, a very good friend, Edna Mool, over from there, and I point over that direction, from where we came, told us you have a sale.
Ah, she makes the straps, I make the metal. I make the most powerful metal you have ever seen, Blade. Starts drinking quite a large quantity of a bottle. What do you want?
Well, can you show us what's on sale?
Ah. Basically, he is running a 10% discount as a standard on anything out of the mail and plate categories. So
Oh, so he's basically selling armor.
basically armor, and there are a few weapons as well, which are somewhat discounted. So it's anything that's basically made of metal within the armor section he has access to, and is rocking a 10% discount. And anything from the majority of melee weapons, this is a pretty big armorer, and there's sort of stacks and stacks of weapons. It actually looks like there might be maybe 6 blacksmiths that work here. He's just the one that's currently talking. The others are just busy working right now. So he's got things like rapiers, hand weapons, swords, hammers. It all actually looks pretty good.
I sort of like I'm looking at amazement, and like I look over to everybody, and guys, considering we are in the market, well, we're gonna need more jobs, and I presume the next ones we will take will be more dangerous than this. I would suggest you get yourselves equipped properly. Otherwise,
what do your expertise suggest?
what armor type is Shauna wearing right now?
Leather?
Agro brand.
No.
I think you have a couple of pieces of leather currently.
Yeah, I have a skull cap and...
Well, considering your legs are unprotected, I might suggest you get some male chassis, or however it's pronounced.
Mm-hmm. Shoss.
But
that is what we call it in Kislev. We call it leggings, we're simple. Like that.
But are you strong enough, Shauna, to handle that?
Well,
I mean,
you're gonna have to find out.
We'll go through that afterwards if you like, but you would be able to get away with wearing a few bits of armor as long as you're wearing them and not carrying them without too much penalty.
Fair enough.
We'll go through the exact rules. There will be a penalty for stealth tests if you're wearing mail, because, well, it's made of lots of little rings of metal.
Jingle jangle.
Yeah, indeed. But it's basically a 4 silver discount, so it's 1 gold and 16 at a basic cost to have your legs covered with chainmail, which is 2 armor, which is quite something.
Yeah, sure.
wait, isn't mail like 2 gold?
Yeah, it is normally, but there's a discount, 10%.
Aha, 10% discount.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's 1 and 16. 1 gold, 16 at a standard rate. You can try and haggle that. Okay, 1 gold and 8 later, you find yourself equipped with some chainmail, sort of like leggings, but they're fairly... They're sort of loose enough in that they go down to like the boots, and you're able to move around fairly freely in them. They seem to be pretty well fitted.
This will keep you strong and safe.
Thank you, kind sir.
No problem. You should cover the rest of you. Your arms, your head, your body.
My head is covered.
You want it covered more with metal, trust me.
Okay.
Everything should be metal.
Excuse me, but
Duh.
won't you sink into the bargain if you are wearing so much metal?
Yeah.
Duh, you do
I
not
mean,
want to
surely
generally swim in metal. That kind of goes without saying.
Yeah. So perhaps wearing so much metal is not a good idea, Sienna.
No,
I'm
she
just
will be a
wearing 1 piece of
champion.
metal.
She will be a champion of hawk pants. Now we'll upgrade it to metal pants, yeah?
Yeah.
And I
Give
slap
me
her on
all
the back.
that.
Is anyone buying anything else while you're here?
Hurts my
Nope.
Nope.
You just
Okay.
made me
I
buy
just-
it for...
I just ask him, how long will you be keeping up the sale?
Today. We do not do this
only
very
today.
often. Just, every now and again, business gets a little bit quiet, and, we try to make some money and things.
Actually, I might purchase it. Excuse me, but do you carry any buckler?
A buckler. We have some over here. Let me show you. We have some of these and some of those. We have ones with a little spike on them, should you want to pop them in the head and the face, Really powerful.
It's basically, instead of the 18 and 2, it is 16 and 2.
Bruder, I have some spare silver if you wish to get the buckler, perhaps?
How much is the buckler?
The buckler is 16 and 3.
16. and
It is
three.
a good deal. It's strong. It's powerful.
And he bashes 2 together.
See, they are strong. Like Kislev.
Why am I blind and I can't see it? Shield buckler, there it is. 18.
It's the third one up on the shelf.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess I can get a buckler. I'm just gonna give a gold coin and just rebate me the rest.
Take some change. Okay. And yeah, for OLED 16 and 3, so that would be. He does at this point as well, handing you the buckler. Look at your quarterstaff.
What are you doing with something made of wood? Why is it not metal and strong and powerful? I could break that with my bare hands.
And he looks like he really wants to snap it.
Okay, and I give it to him. I break it. I assure you, it's very good quality.
You want him to try and break it?
Yeah, sure. As long as
Okay.
he compensates me if he breaks it.
That's not
It's
going to
3
happen.
silver. But it is only 3 silver. Look, if you break it and give me the 3 silver, I will buy a sword from you. Yeah, very good offer. What is 3 silver to a gold coin worth of?
He breaks it in half.
I tell
Okay.
you what, I'll give you 2 smaller ones.
Gives them back. Then make a charm test.
Charm.
Don't worry. I tell you what, I'll give you.
He pulls out was it a sword you mentioned?
Yeah.
Okay. He pulls out a sword and he offers you the. He offers you that, and let's go up to prices.
I tell you what, I'll use this wood to make something proper like an axe or a hammer or something. I'll keep these.
And gives you the 2 silver for the sake of keeping the 2 half of the quarterstaff.
Okay.
It's a pretty impressive looking sword. Not like amazingly decorative, but it's not rusty. It's like brand new.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it has a little head of a bear on the hilt.
Yeah,
Very good craftsmanship, yeah. Maybe we should be seeing each other soon again.
Make sure to come back soon. I will make you entirely made of metal. You will be far more durable and strong.
Whatever you say, Chief.
Okay, have a good day, Blip.
Goes back to hammering away, and he's sort of hammering with one hand and drinking with another.
I like that, man.
Yeah, very nice. Apparently, he
Very
mooched,
freaking strong.
he mooched money off us, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Look at this cool sword, yeah, made from a man from
And my
Kislev,
cool-
Buddha.
My
Sienna has pants without pockets now.
Yeah.
They're way heavy.
Can we, considering we're done shopping, I guess, can we fast forward?
Yeah, you can basically spend the rest of the day, get some food, have a bite to eat in a tavern. Your daily expenses for basically staying alive are half of your class in brass. That's kind of like your food, maintenance, boardings, all of that added together. So it's only like a couple of pennies for each of you. It's not a lot. Basically to kind of maintain your social status as well. So keeping your clothes and sort of boots up sort of well kept, and just keeping yourself sort of alive and to your sort of current standards. So you make your way to the well-known town hall, smaller than the Temple of Sigmar, but still a large and impressive building. Quite a crowd gathered outside, people conversing, talking, gossiping. You sort of overhear as you step inside a few people discussing the appeal of the halflings and any other sort of orders of business as such. And moving
Can
in,
I
you
actually hear what they're saying?
you can make a perception test if you like, just to sort of see how much you're able to, or a gossip test if you actually just want to talk to a few people.
Yeah, I want to talk to a few people.
Sure. Have a see what the crowd is discussing. No, like you find a couple of people, but they've got a really thick accent. You can't get a word in edgewise. Not a clue.
Just smile and wave.
Oleg will be getting in on some gossip himself.
Rogel steps inside and goes and takes a seat on one of the pews to the side and sort of eyes ahead eagerly, and you can sort of see him mumbling a few words to himself. I'm gonna taking a seat at the back, heck, even standing in the back corner, feeling mischievous. He's up to something. And Oleg's is unfortunately ignored gossip-wise as well. You try and get a word in, but there's a group of people that seem far more interested in discussing things with each other than yourself, so you're sort of butted out of that conversation. Rather rude.
God damn it.
I'll remember this.
There is, inside, you certainly notice Hieronymus. He seems to be bickering with his son at the moment over something. Gospert, Rugebrada. Heinrich is sat in his chair looking stoic. Another man by the side, you would presume to be Mr. Hagen, but not having met yet, but he sits in one of the 4 more throne-like chairs. Very impressive, red leather, halfway between a throne and an armchair. Quite decorative. The other chairs around the edge seem to be slightly less ornate, but similar in design, with numerous individuals you would presume or you would know to be other seats of the councils, heads of guilds, etc. from the town. And in the middle, stood by themselves, are the 2 halflings, who are currently conversing with each other. So, this takes about 10 minutes.
Did they see us?
No, they simply conversing with each other. The halflings, before anything else happens, the crowd still discussing, move up toward the individuals in question, and you notice them having a conversation with each other. And if you make me a perception test, whoever's curious enough to spy this.
I am.
Feeling very perceptive. Oleg, looking at the
I'm
halflings step toward the nobleman. Each, they seem to share a few words with each, and as they do, you notice their expression and demeanour shift instantly from sort of stoic to a slightly red-faced, flustered, some combination of frustration and aggression, something within that, something within that realm.
Bruder, it looks like the show will be good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I hope we see them get executed.
And with
I
that,
hope.
over to you.
I just say I hope not. They pay us really good money. I would love to keep that. I would love to keep that going.
I do not like sneaky people.
And with this, one of the halflings, Candlewick actually, starts to just clap slowly, and the crowd sort of gradually quietens their murmuring a little bit, and the room sort of shifts to silence. Normal proceedings, having sat at a few of these before, would be that someone in the middle would act as a sort of a curator or a someone who would initiate the order of business. Individuals would approach with their tasks, but unusually today, good old Matchwick chimes up. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. And takes a moment to wave around the room. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. Glad you could make it. Doesn't seem to acknowledge you're there or really acknowledge anyone, just does a pleasantry all around. Very, very glad you could all make it to our little humble hearing today. We have 2 things we would like to request of these very generous individuals in front of us. At this point, the Heinrich, Hieronymus, Jochen, and Gospert all are looking frustrated. Red-faced, you can see fists clenched. First things first, we would like to simply request our poor poor pie carts are brought back to the town. They seemed such a hit with all of you, and points around to the individuals all around, and a few people nod and sort of murmur to each other about, you hear a little bit of conversation being had. We feel it was most unfair that our business was taken away, and likely an oversight of these kind individuals. So our first request today would be simply that they are reinstated. All those in favour, raise a hand. The seats around the edge look sort of towards each other. The first hand going up is from Hieronymus, who looks back at his son as he does so, sort of leering at him, and then looks again forward. Heinrich and Jochenhagen soon follow. The rest of the council raises a hand as well. Lovely, lovely to see the motion passed. Very, very kind of you. The second thing we're here to request today, or rather we would like to put forward a suggestion. There's not many families who have joined the town of Boaghafen in the last few years and has been as profitable as ourselves. And we couldn't help but notice you have an empty seat over there. And while we feel a little concerned of what happened to the Tugans and we mourn their loss as much as you, we feel we may be worthy suitors to sit on the council alongside you. At this point, the crowd sort of gasps a little bit. There's a few people like a few sort of disdains from the crowd. A few people start to mumble and whisper to each other, and you can see the expression of sort of Heinrich. His arms fold and he just looks forward and sort of completely sort of pink-faced by now. Same with Hagen and Hieronymus, equally looking like they're about to sort of get up and beat these two halflings. And Gospert Rugbrodder, at this point, places a hand on his father's shoulder and whispers something in his ear. And Hieronymus raises a hand. Followed by Heinrich. Followed by Mr. Hagen. The rest of the group at this point are looking confused at each other, sort of turning heads left and right. They can't, make sense of this by the look of their body language. A few of them are raising hands up in sort of protesting this choice, saying, one old gentleman in particular, "This is not according to normal procedure." Heinrich waves his hand down and sort of sits him back down. Soon after, hesitantly, the hands of the individuals are raised. Thank you very kindly. We shan't let you down, and we'd like to thank you all for your time today. Oh, and might I suggest making this into some form of National Pie Day? I think it would go down a treat. And the two of them turn around and have a gentle stroll out, catching your eye as they leave, giving you a little wave. And
Oh yeah, you're gonna want to see them after this. Holy shit!
We may wish to leave immediately now that they've.
Yeah, it was quite entertaining. I should like to entertain my purse even longer, considering we've worked for them directly, and I would like to keep them in. Let's say, have them as our partners.
would you...
I'm feeling a double jeu.
The crowd starts emptying at this point. It's up to you. Are you? Did
We're
you say
going
you
to
were
go
moving after them?
I'm going immediately after them.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Okay, you briskly move to leave. The halflings by this point are walking down the road, almost skipping at this point, and you can sort of see them nudging each other with elbows, sort of laughing and being a bit jovial as they're moving down the street. If we go back to Bogentown Places, and we have a main street noise, there we go. And, oh, hello there. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Well, that
It
was
was
a
quite
pretty,
surprising.
a pretty
Indeed.
ambitious move.
They're very generous, you know. We just sell pies, but, you know.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you have more than selling pies.
Indeed we do. Come, have a little walk with us. They don't discuss much other than their plans for what they want to do while on the council, while walking along down the street. It takes about 15 minutes, but they don't discuss any orders of business as such while walking along. But they do take you back to the tavern. There's no sign of Conrad at this point. Candlewick's looking a little bit more healthy, but does walk with a little bit of a limp, occasionally putting his hand onto his back, and as he gets in, takes his jacket off, and you do see a bandage currently around his torso. Well, as you can see, the fruits of your labour were, well, pretty good for everyone, I'd say.
Not for everyone.
Oh, you got a couple of gold coin out of it. I think you did rather well.
I'm not talking about myself. What did you do to those families?
Nothing. We just had a talk, my dear. The information you gave us was very, very useful.
Listen, I'm the first one to wanna see the group progress fall. However, you seem to be doing some sneaky shit. And I don't like it.
Sneaky. Well, we weren't the people stalking the noble families around town. Make a gossip test. Sorry, a charm test. Make a charm test, and let's see how charming you can be.
Charm.
They close the door behind them as well, so you are alone within the tavern.
Nice.
Okay, for a +6. Well, let us tell you a little story. Sit down. Would you like some pie?
No, thank you.
I like your pies very much.
This, by the way, is only because you got +6. Well, 2 little halflings managed to find a boat. A rather nice boat full of expensive things. We used said boat as leverage. 2 little halflings also learned that the naughty Rogue brothers were going to make a deal with the Stevedores, which wouldn't go down very well. We just simply thought it only fair to tell some of the other houses of these events, or at least say we would. That was enough to win those over. And the Steinhager seem rather concerned that we look into the, let's say, story behind his young nephew. We pried a little bit and found out perhaps the death wasn't such as it was made out. But, alas, we were able to convince them all to see things our way for a little while, and your works was very helpful. Much appreciated.
Okay, now onto the business part. I don't care what Shona feels. We're only doing it for the money. Yeah.
We won't
Shall we
get
call
much
you?
money if we make every single person in this town our enemy.
No. You're thinking of this wrongly. You're going about this the wrong way, Shona. Look, can we call you friends, or merely business partners?
Oh, I think we can call each other associates by now.
Yeah.
Perhaps a little more in time.
Perhaps more in time. Yeah, good. We're glad you got what you wanted. Do you perhaps have any more jobs for us?
There are many jobs in this town. We may have... And one moment, please. And turns to Candlewick, and they whisper to each other very softly for a moment in exchange a few words. Make me a perception test if you want to try and see how much of it you can gather.
Even though my perception's shit.
Oh,
yay!
Just enough. Matchwick is whispering to Candlewick at the moment. Do you think we should see? Do you think they would join? I think they're safe. I think we can trust them. That's all you can hear.
Okay.
Candlewick nods in return. We have a small club, as such. A little group of associates. Perhaps you would be worthy members. There is a little, let's say, trial.
should you wish. Let's say proof of one's commitment, but I think a relationship could be established.
Is
Very
it
good.
a boating club?
Sort of.
Ah.
Sometimes it involves boats, sometimes it involves borrowing them.
No need to borrow any boats. We have a boat. Our esteemed Oleg here just got his hand on a very, very beautiful ship.
Oh, well done.
Like visibly puffs up at that, looking rather pleased.
Well, I look forward to seeing it. We will be in touch, and gives you a little nudge, a little wink. And now, if you wouldn't excuse us.
Yeah, no problem. And I just put my hands like behind my head and just like swiftly go out the door saying, "It was a pleasure doing business with you." Toodles.
As you leave, the two of them walk you to the door, and just as you step outside, Grimvald, as you sort of made the most eye contact with Matchwick, he just turns you around for a second. And by the way, it's very, very ill-advised to double-cross us.
If you'd like to see why, perhaps pay a visit to the inmate at the prison. Toodles! And closes the door.
Aw, man.
Okay. And I think that's probably a good time to end the session.